and welcome to the 83rd edition of the Marex Maritime News. These are the headlines on Monday, 13th of September 2021. Blockade scare as BULKER grounds in SUEZ. Is safeguarding human lives at sea still a priority? Or nationality, status and migratory policy precedes it? 3D forward-looking sonar to overcome navigational challenges. Lloyd's Register and Inmarsat to develop a remote survey solution. Legalizing BWM may soon lead to significant costs for shipowners. Expert report on dry bulk markets. A recent grounding in the Suez Canal had set off fears of a blockage similar to the one of the Evergiven. However, Coral Crystal, a Panama-flagged bulk carrier with a cargo of 43,000 tons, had briefly become stuck in the northern section of the Suez Canal, but was soon refloated, soon restoring normalcy to the canal's operations. The number of migrants crossing the English Channel in small dinghies has risen this year to about 12,000, which are tiny compared to the migrant flows to the countries such as Lebanon and Turkey, which hosts millions of refugees. Now, Britain has approved plans to turn away boats illegally carrying migrants to its shores. Border officials will be trained to force boats away from its British waters, but will deploy the new tactic only when they deem it safe, a British government official said. Is Britain's challenge to the maritime law to rescue migrants justifiable?
Safeguarding human lives at sea shall always remain a priority. The international maritime law codifies the obligation to render assistance in such instruments as the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea 1982 and the International Convention on Maritime Search and Rescue 1979. Under the 1982 United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, ships have a clear duty to assist those in distress. Also, the obligation to extend aid applies without regard to the nationality, status, or circumstances of the person or people in distress. International human rights law also contains important standards in relation to those in distress and rescued at sea. The safe and humane treatment of all persons rescued, regardless of their legal status or the circumstances in which they were rescued, is of paramount importance. Hence, there is a duty under the international law for a ship to attempt the rescue of persons at danger at sea. This duty is based on a long-standing and strongly felt moral obligation among seafarers. Hence, I would again stress safeguarding human lives at sea shall always remain a priority.
As there are many potential dangers that are undetectable by the traditional navigation tools, the marine navigation technology industry aims to find new ways to improve situational awareness to keep the vessels safe. Far-sounder Argos technology is a solution to fill in the gaps where other technologies fall short. The company is addressing the reality of these limitations to fulfill the navigational needs of all types of vessels. One such innovative technology, developed specifically with this goal in mind, is the Argos real-time 3D forward-looking sonar. This type of state-of-the-art proven technology could become a priority for the mariners.
It has always been a wish for the navigator to know what lies beneath. Unfortunately, none of the available battery of navigational instruments allowed mariners to know the unknown. The potential dangers below the sea level have also been undetectable by the bridge equipment traditionally used on board merchant vessels. With many incidents involving grounding, touching bottom, fouling anchors, knowing about subsea objects and their location has now been considered a key element of situational awareness. Chart data often is inaccurate and is largely dependent on the efficiency and the correctness of the last survey conducted. GPS disruption is also a known danger to navigation. With far sounder Argus 3D, the vessel can reinforce its position even with GPS interference. Argus will alert the navigators of any underwater hazard that may not have been sufficiently charted. One such most prominent hazards are reefs, which with the ocean keep shifting, growing all the time. The correctness of their position lies at the mercy of a possibly inaccurate survey. Vessels have been known to collide with several shallow reefs. The 3D real-time, forward-looking sonar can assist in preventing these costly encounters, especially in uncharted or partly charted areas.
Lloyd's Register LR and Inmarsat, the world leader in global mobile satellite communications, have announced an industry-first collaboration between a satellite communication provider and a classification society, which will provide a connectivity solution to address the challenges experienced during remote surveys. The new solution uses LR Remote, a specifically engineered application for remote inspection, which will allow the crew members to live stream videos, photos, and audios directly from on board a ship to a LR technical specialist located elsewhere. It will be empowered with an Inmarsat certified application provider dedicated bandwidth service called Fleet Connect, which will be available on the Fleet Express digital platform. As global ballast water regulations are maturing, the Ballast Water Management System (BWMS) are soon becoming a legal prerequisite to global trade. This is undeniably true in one respect. It will soon become a legal requirement for any type of ship engaged in international trade to have a certified way of treating ballast water on board. The date of this requirement coming into force depends on the age of the vessel, corresponding to their next scheduled survey. This has created a glut of vessels requiring retrofits within the next few years, which is being heightened further by the extensions granted by some authorities during the COVID-19 crisis. This glut creates two issues for the ship owners in ensuring compliance today: securing an appropriate BWMS system and ensuring that the system remains operationally compliant.
There is no doubt that ballast water is an integral component of the ship's stability, and a good ballast water management plan is imperative for all types of ships. But the ship's owners are already facing issues in their financial planning, like the rising fuel prices, low sulfur fuel requirements, port dues and fees, special survey costs, and now ballast water management treatment has too joined the horizon. So to reduce these significant costs, new benchmark technologies like redesigning the ship to no ballast ship, complying with the new environmental rules and regulations could drastically reduce the problem of costs. In fact, a no-ballast ship can be a promising design to block the hitchhiking organisms and also terminate the entire requirements of costly filters, ultraviolet irradiation, chemical biocides, and other techniques. I hear this type of design is under progress and will create a constant flow of local seawater through a network of trunks running from the bow to the stern below the waterline, and thereby reducing the potential hauling of the contaminated water across the seas. The design could approach the ballast operation as the reduction of buoyancy rather than summing up the additional weight to help the vessel to its required ballast drafts. In other words, this could be a great economic winner by affirming a saving of the net capital cost per ship if the ballast water management is legalized.
Now, our dry bulk market report, direct from the expert.
We are moving towards the completion of Q3, which ends on the 30th of September at freight rates that are very healthy. The duration October, November, December is generally considered as the strongest quarter of the year. During today's talk, we will look at the dry bulk market as it prevails and the expectations for Q4. Back on the 8th of March, we had predicted the dry bulk markets year to date at a very high probability of Cape upwards of $26,000, Panamax $23,400, and Supramax circa $21,500, which was twice as the average of 2019 and 20. We had also predicted the super cycle with Cape 39,000 plus, Panamax 35,000 plus, and Supra 32,000 plus, which was thrice the average of 2019 and 20. And now we see the spot market. In fact, 2 of the 3 predictions, they have surpassed even these numbers. As of the 10th September, the spot market is 46,000 plus, Panamax is more than 31,000, and Supramax in the region of 35,000. The year-to-date figures for the same date are Capesize 28,000, Panamax upwards of 24,000, and Supramax very close to 25,000. And these numbers are trending north. Looking at the Clarksey Index, which tracks the earnings in tanker, bulker, containers, and gas carrier sectors, on a weekly basis, we see a similar story. Average since the start of the index in 2009 has been about 12,900 a day. The year-to-date average for 2021 is close to $24,000 a day. And as of 27th of August, the number has been a whopping 39,453. So, what is responsible for this trend? We have our demand drivers, which are making a change in the ton miles. China is continuing to import from diverse sources, including more bauxite from Guinea than in the previous years. There is a strong resilience in demand. US Gulf cargoes, Indonesian coal, where accounting issues are expected to be resolved sooner or later, bauxite demand irrespective of the political developments in Guinea, and not to miss the timber demand. And then we have the port congestion and delays as a result of pandemic, quarantine measures, crew change, etc. Further, the spillover from the red-hot container market with no available containers for European logs, strong growth in the manufacturing sector, which has led to increased demand for raw materials. The stimulus-driven demand continues as the public is being encouraged to spend more. Running parallel to this, we have our supply scenario. There are limited new building orders and therefore tightness in the fleet growth. And this is supporting the market. New IMO regulations regarding ballast water treatment system installation, and many ships have their due dates in 2022, which may lead to increased dry docking time. In addition to demand and supply, the market players are having their own market perceptions by way of more buyers rather than the sellers, increasing second-hand prices, which have gone up by 40% in second-hand of all segments. Whereas in case of handy-size, the second-hand prices have gone up by 60%. Forward curve is looking very healthy across all the segments, even though the curve is in backwardation, but the numbers are very healthy. While being optimistic moving into quarter four, let us not forget the importance of a contrarian view. It may be prudent to consider the way the market has behaved in the fourth quarter during the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020. And there are some risks lurking in the background for 2021. Some of these risks are China's emission control, thus affecting the steel production, dropping volumes of trade, and increasing speed of the ships. Australia-China issues, sooner or later, they may be resolved, and that will also impact the ton miles. Similarly, easing of logistic bottlenecks may lead to reduced port delays and hence releasing the ships in the active trade, and that too will impact the supply.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for watching. See you all next Monday.